All right, welcome everybody to the Connection Hangout. It's Wednesday, January 21st, 2015, and we have an exciting hangout for you this evening with some very special guests. But before we get started, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. The Connection Hangout is a program that's designed to connect you to various high-profile celebrities, athletes. We have corporate executives, industry professionals to give you some education to help you grow your ASEA business. This is not a business presentation or a product overview. If you would like more information on ASEA, the product, or Renu 28, the product, or the business opportunity, please get back to the person who invited you to be on this hangout. I'd like to say hello to my super co-host out there in Marietta, Georgia, David Asarno. Are you there, David?
I am, Paul.
Fantastic. How's it going out there in Georgia?
It's beautiful. It's nice. We were out celebrating my wife's birthday, her multi-year rendition of her 25th, I guess.
Yeah, very good. The anniversary of her 25th birthday. I like it.
Yes.
I'm gonna steal that one. Fantastic. And
yes.
you guys are not getting too much frozen weather out there.
We thawed out. It's been beautiful.
Very good.
And by the way, I know this is not a business presentation, and I do want to send out to you, Paul, our condolences on behalf of the entire ASEA family for your loss this week. I know you've been through a lot.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Yeah, it's a new year, and you know, I really appreciate so many of the thoughts that people had sent out as well on Facebook and everything. I was pretty overwhelmed, but you know, I gotta look at it as my father is in a much better place now, and look for all the positive things that he brought to my world. So thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Also want to thank Brent Brooks out there. I believe he's going to be moderating tonight. I know we have a couple other folks who are now helping out and chiming in. And there's a comment thread right beneath the screen, so be sure to be typing in. Let us know where you're viewing from. We'd love to see that. And what I'll do now is let me pass it back over to David to kind of get his take on the topic for this evening.
So, Paul, tonight our hangout is all about how to succeed hosting home parties. And we have two incredible guests from Mahwah, New Jersey. Joe and Pilar Labriola. Now, they're here that cheer was from Mahwah. Now, they're going to provide us with tips and demonstrate the details of the parties. Now, Paul, before we go there, can you start by explaining the party concept and why this concept is such a great way to introduce more people to ASEA?
Yes, it's been quite a great experience for us since the launch of Renu 28, because Renu 28 has such a great immediate impact, effect. People really are fearless about putting things on their skin, and when they feel and they're able to experience something immediately that's positive, it's just a very warm and fun kind of a conversation. It's a great environment to structure a whole little get-together or party. And some of you have tuned in to some of our previous episodes here on the Connection Hangout where we've actually done live parties, connected them together. We'll do more of those. But as we've been doing these, we've been learning a lot, like what information should be communicated, what should be omitted, where people start to feel really warm and fuzzy. And so it's really progressing nicely. So we're going to get up to speed here with this exciting new presentation this evening with Drs. Joe and Pilar. So we're really excited to see that.
Awesome. So, well, that makes a lot of sense. So let's get right to it and see how these parties are done with Pilar and Joe. So, Pilar, are you ready to show us how you can have fun and grow a business?
Absolutely. You know, you don't ask me to be here just for my good looks and charm. I mean, although you probably should.
Oh, I thought that's what we did. I thought that's why you were here.
Yeah, well, you know, I'll do that. I'll just sit in the back and smile and say, oh, I'm laughing at all your dumb jokes.
Here because you wanted me to hear me say Mahwah.
Mahwah. You know, that is typically why Joe and I say that we're from Ramsey, because of that. It's actually Mahwah. And it's terrible because my mother just the other day was like, who spells a name that way? And I I lived here for 5 years, Mom. I don't. All right, do tonight. I'm going to do a screen share, and I'm going to take you through slides of this fantastic presentation that Team Reactive put together. Kudos to Sue and Tyler Brenchley for really putting this out, and everybody's teamwork. And yeah, absolutely, guys. I mean, honestly, this is going to give us the tools to just hit 2015. Paul, you said it last night. We got work to do. This is the year, and we're going to give you the tools to do it. So Joe has been asked on here specifically because, you know, this is a treat. He speaks in corporations, small and large, all the time. And he really is going to help give, like, an insight on, you know, what to do, like, kind of your mindset, you know, a different kind of tips on how you deliver this presentation. So, Joe, come on aboard. Add to that.
Hey, everybody. Love the applause. I actually think that should follow me around everywhere I go, so I'm really happy about that. So, okay, so here's a couple of things that, you know, as Pilar had mentioned, I do a lot of presentations, and I've learned over the years there's a lot of universal truths that you can say about when you're presenting to people, that there are things that can really help you to, when whatever the end game of that presentation is going to be, whatever you're trying to get to, there are really things that you can do to change that. So think about it this way, is that, you know what, this is a first touch, believe it or not. This Renew Party, this Renew presentation is a first touch. And so there's a lot of people there, and some people are very interested to be there, some people are unsure why they're there, some people aren't sure about the product. So here's what I am trying to accomplish. When people leave, they're not going to remember how beautiful your slides were, okay? What they're going to remember is how they felt about what they saw and heard. That's it, okay? They are not looking at you to see whether or not you're going to mess up. They're not looking at you or whether they're nervous. Here's the most important thing. They are trying to see if they want to join you. So the whole basis of this presentation is one thing. You are trying to build trust. And believe it or not, you can get them to join you by getting them to move and to act the way you want. So when I go into a presentation, I've done some of the companies that I've done have been huge, Sony, BMW, all kinds of big companies like this. It's still a matter of they're a group, and it's almost like a wave is coming, and you're trying to manage the wave, but you're the one that is directing where that wave is going to go. So I don't want you to think of yourself as just somebody that's reading slides. We're going to give you a lot of really important notes that a lot of people have contributed to about each of these slides, but the most important thing is about how you stand there and how you act and how you get them to act is really, you're going to get a result out of this presentation by the time you do it. So we're going to go over that with you tonight.
All right. You ready to get started?
Let's rock and roll.
Okay, just bear with me a second. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, share. Here comes my slideshow.
There we go.
Okay, you guys see me? See the slideshow? Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, so, you know, right here is when, you know, I would probably have this up, whether, you know, you're using it on a TV screen, on your computer, your iPad. You can connect your iPad directly to television sets. You know, you can have a projector, however you want to set it up. You can actually go to the store and you can buy, if you're going to run it like a slideshow, you can buy a little remote. It's like a presenter's remote. I think you could get it at like Staples or something like that. So pretty much I would have this up here before we got started. And, you know, as we got started, I'd really just kind of you start by telling your personal story, and you always want to start by thanking and validating the hostess, like, wow, this is great, you seem like you have such a great group of friends, and immediately, you know, you just want to be part of that group. You know, you want to point out that you're there to share information about some amazing products that are truly changing people's lives, and then what you would do is you would tell your story, and you really want it to be brief, positive personal experience about Renew 28. You know, if you don't have your story yet, you can always tell a friends as well. You know, that's really not any big deal, but really it's kind of to start the whole, you know, getting them engaged. Joe, I know you had some thoughts on that part.
Yeah, definitely. So here's the thing about the personal story, is that one thing that you can take from this is that people buy with emotion and they justify with fact. So we think about it when you're going to buy a car. Okay, let's face it. You know, a Kia has 4 wheels just the same way as a Maserati does. But the Maserati is going to pull out some emotions out of you that a Kia probably won't. Not that I hate Kias or anything. I'm not knocking them, but I'm saying that, you know what, your emotion is tied to what you see in front of you. So, but you're going to justify what happens with facts. So the first way to start that emotional process is, believe it or not, with your testimonial and your story. So when I give my story, when I'm doing my presentation, a lot of people are saying, like, I'll bring it out and say, why am I here, and what changed for me because of this? And the other thing is that you're going to try to compare and contrast a little bit about what was so bad that was back here and is now changed so much that I'm so glad that I'm over here. You know, for example, like with my story, you know, when I was 5 years old, I was diagnosed with my condition. I mean, we had to get rid of my family dog. How would you like to be the one out of the 3 brothers that you were the one responsible for getting rid of your family dog? Probably not so good, right? But now I'm in a place where I can be around dogs all I want. I'm so happy about that, and that changed in my life. So that was an anchor back here, but things have changed. So right away you're going into the emotion and saying, this is important to me.
Yeah, that's a great point. And then, you know, it really is that delivery, because you do want to engage them and you want to kind of pull them into you. And guys, this is going to take practice, but, you know, you're going to move on to this faster than you think you are. You know, another thing we point out, we kind of give them a little preamble of what's to come. So we just might say here, you know, in a few minutes you're going to have the chance to try these amazing products yourself. And right before that, what we want you to do is we want you to pass out that Healthy Inside and Out brochure. And you're going to have them at this point take just a few minutes and fill out the satisfaction survey. So once they do that, just, you know, you have some pens there and you have enough of those brochures to go around, you know, you're going to bring up the slide and you're going to say, okay, how are you doing? Here's an example. And, you know, if you can see that the slide. Did you bring up
that slide so we can see it?
Do you not see it?
The actual screen is how are you doing slide?
Yeah. Do you see it?
Back out of the slideshow mode and then go back, go into presenter tool or presenter mode.
What the heck happened?
Yeah,
okay.
we actually see like the note. There we go. We see
That's
you
better.
But we don't.
Okay.
So we're seeing you like in notes slide view. So we actually see the notes under the slide too. Is that the mode you want to be in?
Well, I was gonna. Okay, I guess this is okay. Sorry about that. No, I kind of wanted to be in the actual slideshow presentation so people could see kind of how it would be delivered.
Okay, so if you want to go full screen, is it
the lower left corner? Click on the projector button. It's the third over from the left.
It must be in a presentation mode to be projecting on another screen or something.
Oh.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to do it like this. All right. Okay, yeah. So you guys see how are you doing?
But this, yes. but actually, it's not bad because again, this is more of an educational hangout. That if you see underneath, there are some notes. It looks like they've actually typed in some notes too, that people can use that as a reference as they're going through this.
Okay, so, and that's a good point, you guys, because, you know, you're not on your own here. I mean, there have been people that have put a lot of time into kind of giving bullet points of what you could say here. So really this one is, you know, it's you're going to bring up, I know what we want to do is you kind of want to point out that people are going to be in a certain range. Like you might say to them, you know, most of your people are going to be in a range of 15 to 25. And you know, Joe, you were talking earlier when you and I were discussing this that, you know, you might want to, you know, make a little bit of a joke of that. Like, did you have something to add there?
Yeah, you know, you'd say, thankfully they put ones in front of everything so that the lowest can't be 0. So.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not gonna score 0 here. Everybody gets at least the participation trophy here. But but you know, the other thing too, and if I'm looking at this, I'm saying, you know, how many of you had your stress levels as like your best thing? You know, nobody's going to raise their hand to that. So you're already starting that engagement process. You want people to be like, yeah, I mean, my stress levels are off the charts. So, you know, how many people here sleep and that's their best thing? Nobody's sleeping as their best thing, right? So you're getting people engaged at that right away.
Right. you just want to start going through these things, and you just want to show, like, we're kind of developed that there's definitely an issue. So the next slide comes up, and it talks about ASEA's products. And if you guys can see, at the bottom of the screen, you have, the ASEA products are based on a breakthrough science called redox signaling. Redox signaling molecules are the molecules that are native to the body. They help your cells communicate with each other, allowing your cells to perform at optimal levels. As you age, the molecules become less efficient. Talk about environmental factors, and as a result, our cells can't perform the optimal levels. So that's where, we want to point out that these are a vital part to anybody's life. If you're alive on this planet, you need redox signaling molecules. Whether you're a plant, an animal, or a human, any living organism needs redox signaling molecules. Then the next slide, this slide will actually build. So when you come up and you hit the, you hit the buttons, it's going to start, just the cells tab is going to show. And then you hit it again, then the tissues, and then the organs, and then the systems, then the U comes up. So it talks about health at a cellular level. And you really have to keep, everything is based on health at the cellular level. Joe, I know you had some thoughts on that too.
Yeah, very simply, what I would tell people at this is that look at the base of the pyramid here, and that means that everything else falls down if the base of the pyramid isn't correct. And let that hit people. My tissues, my organs, my systems, I won't be good. I won't even be in the rest of the pyramid if I don't have a base, and that's the cells.
Right. So from there, they're really, really important points, because you want to establish the fact. It's like, we live and die on the cellular level. And everybody talks about cellular health. It's a real buzzword, buzz phrase right now. So on to the next slide. And again, as you practice, this is going to be very streamlined. This is a very cool slide, because this is going to give people a visual of what actually happens in the 3-step process with ASEA. And you're going to see that one block comes up, then an arrow, then the next, and the next. And you just want to explain how ASEA starts with salt. They take pristine salt water. The molecules are broken into free-floating atoms, and then they're restructured into forming these redox signaling molecules. And it's going to give people a very, very good explanation and kind of get that out of the way. It's, yes, this is made from salt water. We break the salt water up, and this is what makes redox signaling molecules, period. Joe, what about, you were talking something about, how you kind of use your hands in that process?
Yeah, I make this, you want to keep this as simple as possible, so when I do my descriptions, I say essentially that salt and water go in linked like this. After they've done with their 3-step process, it comes out linked like this. It's still the same ingredients, it's just rearranged in a different way. And if you just take your hands and just do that, you've actually gotten people visually understanding you very, very quickly.
Yeah, and we know there's visual learners, etc. All right, so now we're going to start talking about where do redox signaling molecules come from. So this is a great slide. There's 3 places in the world where you can find redox signaling molecules: living cells, in a bottle of ASEA, or a tube of Renu 28. And you might want to point out that each bottle or tube of Renu 28 contains trillions of these molecules. So that's a really good visual that people can get. And remember, you guys, ASEA is the only source outside the human body of these molecules. From there, you go into the healing, and this is a great slide as well, because it talks about, you're really going to point out healing from the inside out by drinking the product. So that ASEA will kind of, that the ASEA bottle will pop up, and then you're going to heal from the outside in with wearing and topical use. So you, of course, can see the notes down at the bottom of the page. Again, this is all very, very good visual learning for people. Now, we want to talk about why we would drink it. So when this slide pops up, you guys, it's just a bottle of ASEA. And as you hit your clicker, one at a time, all of those great reasons to drink ASEA are going to come up. And you really want to hit on certain ones that people, you hear a lot of complaints about. And, immune system support is huge. Problems with energy, so you increase energy by drinking ASEA. Improve mental clarity, enhances endurance and performance, and better sleep quality. These are all great things that you want people to sink in as to why you would drink the product, right, Joe?
Yeah, I think too that I look at the two big ones that I look at are free radical damage and antioxidants. Those are the two things that a lot of people. What I like about those two is that they're in some ways they're mysterious to people, but everybody knows that they're important to us or working against us. So everybody knows that free radicals are bad. You want to say, listen, this is protecting us against the free radicals and antioxidants. How many people are taking antioxidants? Some by the bucket load, just to make sure that we're staying healthy. And look at what this is doing. So you're going to point out, people will look exactly where you want them to look if you point it out to them. So there you go, point those two out.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, this presentation you guys are going to see is so well done because it builds. So now we're building out of the drink it part, the wear it part, and we're talking about the most advanced skincare product ever. You're going to look at the notes at the bottom of your screen. It's concentrated and effective of all areas of skin health. It's not just cosmetics. You could use it from diaper rash to wrinkles. I mean, that right there is saying without saying that you can use this across the gamut and in age groups. So there's a couple, and you can see that this guy, you want to really point him out because this individual, obviously, he put Renu 28 on one side of his face for 28 days and not the other. I mean, honest to God, like, this guy's the best for doing this, but that's phenomenal, and I think I would spend, a little bit of time, like, look at him, seriously, and there's no way you can deny that the stuff works.
That's just amazing. That's just an amazing photo. You know what? I've seen that photo so many times, but until you said it like that, Pilar, I never put. I'm just like before and after. I get it, but I didn't realize. Anyway, maybe it was just
that's
me,
what he did. That's what he did.
Yeah.
It's cool. Now that's a real good. It's like when you see something like that. I don't care who you are. You know that there's some major pull for this stuff. So now you want to talk about how this product are simple, safe, proven, affordable, effective. So I want you guys to remember those words because the rest of the presentation is going to show you how it's simple, show you how it's safe, show you how it's proven and affordable. So we're going to go into a little bit of a further explanation here. So now, Joe, you want to take this part?
Yeah, this is where I start off. What you're really trying to do is build a case for Renu. So one of the amazing things about Renu is how simplistic it is, and we look at skincare product number one here that has 20 different ingredients. And I mean, I would point out to somebody and I'd say, I'd point right to that, like a word right there, and say, all right, can anybody pronounce this word right here? Or do you want to put that on your face? Maybe not. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so here's another one now where we have, and this one here, believe it or not, now we've got 40 ingredients. So now we have 40 ingredients that are all going onto my face, and this, I mean, the next ingredients here have longer letters. I think we counted one of them had 17 letters in it. So, does anybody want to raise their hand and attempt to read this ingredient? Notice what I'm doing. I'm getting them to agree with me that that's ridiculous. No ingredient should have 17 letters in it, and I can't pronounce this at all. So I'm raising my hand and saying, no, I can't do it. So I'm getting them to move with me.
So now you compare Renu 28, and so Renu 28 comes in, and it's simple. You have 4 ingredients, and you can go through. You see the notes on the bottom, water, but why, why the sodium magnesium fluorosilicate, because it creates the gel. Why there's monosodium phosphate as a pH buffer, and then you have the salt, and then you do want to point out of. This is great. This is a set-aside product because it's non-comedogenic, meaning it doesn't clog your pores. It's paraben-free. All those good things because, you have a one-and-done product that's completely non-toxic and it only has 4 ingredients. And so in comparison of the 2 before, this is a big difference. And you've already seen just from one individual that the stuff already works. So here's pretty cool because we've talked a lot about, you guys have heard me say it, about cosmetics database. Well, the company that kind of heads that is called the Environmental Working Group, or EWG. And this is a great slide because this is a company that exposed the cosmetics industry and their cover-ups. And it shows that personal care products that we use every day are toxic. You could cause biological mutations reproductive complications, and tumors. So notice how I'm delivering that. That's a big deal. I'm going and buying Too Faced cosmetics, and I'm not saying that they're toxic, but you don't know. You're spending all this money to be toxic. And Renew 28 has 0 of the harmful chemicals.
Well, it's really easy to find out if it's toxic or not by taking the ingredients and going to the database.
Absolutely. And it's a great database, and I tell people all the time at any party, we recommend highly that you do this. We recommend highly that you go and look at what you got. And Renew 28, not only is it going to combat the effects of what you've been doing already, but the fact is, for future, it's going to do everything for you without these toxins. So here now is where you go into how good we really are. And this is where you bring in the the Dermatest Research Institute. And we all know about that. You might want to hit a couple seconds on that, how we got the 5-star. It's coveted, not everybody gets it. And then you go into this fact. And I know, Joe, you had some notes on that real fast.
Yeah, so here's when I'm looking at this, so now we talked about the fact that you got people that learn visually, but you also have people that are going to look at numbers and they like to see numbers. So this slide is going to be very important for them. So when I'm looking at this, I'm taking a couple of important things. What are people going to notice the most about this? First thing they're going to see is probably the word wrinkle. So what I actually do is, okay, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to say, okay, overall wrinkle depth reduced by 23% in 28 days. What that means, guys, is that when you have a wrinkle that's like this, most of us are putting cover-ups and things and makeup in there to try to fill the wrinkle so it looks smoother. What this is actually doing is it's healing the skin on the bottom of the wrinkle so that when your skin grows to the surface, you've got new skin there. So that improved 23%. Look at the last one, skin moisture, 11%. Now, there's a big difference between saying there's no moisture in there, it improves skin moisture 11%, or versus me saying, hey, did anybody see when I was talking about those ingredients before, did anybody see moisturizer in there? What did you get from them? You got them shaking their head just like Paul's doing right now, saying, nope, I didn't see that. You got them moving as a group. You got them to agree with you. So you're pulling them into you by saying, wow, that's right, I didn't see that either. So, hang on this slide a little bit, but hold on to the fact that you're going to have some visual people that are really going to see these numbers and really get excited about this.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point, Joe, because as you guys get more involved with this and look at it further and further, and you're going to be able to pick up things like he just said. I mean, that right there is something I wouldn't have thought to say, but yeah, you can relate back 2 or 3 slides before to the fact that there was no moisturizer in the ingredients. All right, so now we go into the pricing, because so far we've shown Renew 28 really to be set aside and very, very different. Now we're going to point out the pricing, and you could see the comparisons, and you could come in where Renew 28 is $50. That is an incredible value. I mean, you really want to kind of log in. You might have people, raise their hand. How many people have ever spent $200 on eye cream in here? How many people have gone through the mall and Neiman Marcus and this and that and promised they would look like something else? Now we find out from slides ago that they're probably toxic because of it, and they spent $400 on a bunch of products that now they want to throw away. So those are something that women understand, that boys, because we do it every day. So now the next couple slides, really what you're going to do is show the effects and point out some, this picture right here, notice the redness on her face. Here, you want to talk about the wrinkles on her neck, lower cut, like on her shirt, on her chest, there's quite a few wrinkles in the left picture, none on the right. So you can really point out the changes, and in 28 days. Here, what I would say, there's a lot of women, my mom included, they get to a certain age and they don't like to wear short sleeves anymore. And on that screen on that left side is the reason why. And if you can look like that in 28 days, you're going to be a lot cooler in the summertime. Let's put it that way. So, all right. So now we want to talk about the difference. So here's where you're going to pass around the product. And, Sue had taught us this right in the beginning, and we've been following this, and it's great. You just have them put the product on one hand. Show them how to shake it up. Show them what to do. One hand, that is it. You also, at this point, want to pass around pre and post pictures so people could start seeing it. And period. Just go from there. And then we're going to talk about that later on, because you do want to bring that up to the fact where, you know, after about 10 minutes, how does their skin feel? What does it look like? What's the texture? Is it smoother? Does it feel more moisturized? And so you can, like Dr. Joe says, really engage them and ask those questions. From here, we talk about testimonials. Keep the testimonials 2 minutes. You always want to pick your people beforehand. Have them recite it to you. Maybe it's a Renew 28 testimonial. Maybe it's an ASEA testimonial. Maybe it's both. But you want it to be compelling, and it's great for other people to share. This way it's not just your experience. There's multiple people in the room. Totally validates the products. All right, so now, here's where the Renew 28 comes in, because we're talking about possibilities. Now, one thing you guys won't be able to see in this mode is that the way that they set it up, they have pictures coming up, and you know, you're talking about someone with overall health. So the person, you know, it goes from a glass of ASEA to somebody that doesn't look so good. Financial security, you know, it goes from, it was somebody balancing their checkbook that was a 0 to this picture of a money tree. You know, the stress level, right here, it was somebody like pulling their hair out, and this guy looks like he's having a good time. You know, same thing with time freedom. You know, right here, I would just pull up. There was this very nice video that we watched last night, right, Joe Labriola, of Paul Tyra traveling the world. You know, that's where you want to show this thing. He sent us, oh my God, it was amazing, you guys. He sent us this group of pictures, but it was so well done. It was about 20 minutes, and I said, oh my gosh, I think I just found our new opportunity presentation, just Paul traveling the world in 2014. It was fabulous. ASEA everywhere. You know, it goes into energy levels, skin issues, etc. So, you know, you want them thinking. Now, all of those slides relate to the back of the brochure that they originally filled out at the beginning. So all of these issues that we just went through, they're the ones that they filled out the 1 to 5 to. You really want to drive in. Now you have a possibility by drinking this product, wearing this product, and sharing it to change those numbers for the better. All right, Joey, take it away. You're up.
All right, so now you say you've established your case very, very well. So now we're saying, all right, so where do I get this ASEA? Where do I get this Renew 28? So the first thing I look at is, hey, listen, you know what? Originally we said that Renew 28 is $50. You can actually see that there's 2 options there that show that they're $35 per tube, not $50. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you're pretty much going to the way that I do it is like, I want people to see what I want them to see. So I'm going to point out, let's say, option number 3, and I'm going to say, you know what, most people are actually looking at this third option over here for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's cheaper, but look at the bottom there. You can also get some free products. So that's the one that most people pick out of all these. And, you know, don't forget, we're actually trying to build, we've built our case. And remember, people are going to buy with emotion and justify with fact. So what we've done here is by this point, we're expecting that they're emotionally involved in this enough that now they're realizing this fact of actually saying, well, I already can figure out a way to save 15 bucks on my tube, but you know what, I could probably get some free product on there. Now they've got the facts that they need to be able to back up their emotion.
Yeah, and then you also have, you know, you can earn extra income by doing it. So, you know, if you have the interest in learning more about becoming an associate, you know, you can get their questions answered. But I like the way you do that, Joe, because, you know, people kind of do what others do, and we've seen that a lot. So the last slide really is about our mission. And, you know, what they broke it down to is that there's 3 kinds of people who are attracted to our products. Those who just want to use the products and feel and look better. Those who would love to earn income and live better. So maybe they're just messing around and, you know, having some good time, going to some parties, making some income, getting some extra free product. Or those who are or those would have to add some income and live better. And then those who are passionate about helping lots of people. And so, you know, you're hitting different levels of them, but you're also showing them that there are different ways to look at this. Yes, you could look at it about feeling better and looking better, earning some income, or helping a ton of people. And Joe, I know you had said you had a couple, you know, closing thoughts here.
Yeah, actually, I mean, the slide that the way it is great, and I think that really gets people on all three categories. And then by moving to the next slide, it's pretty much that now we're going to close out the day, and this is where now this is your call to action. We want people to you're going to tell them exactly what to do. So at this point, they're waiting to be led, okay? And you're really just going to say, okay, so now there's some forms coming around with all those prices that we just showed you. Fill out the form and then hand them to Mary or whoever, or hand them to the person that brought you here. Whatever you decide that you want that call to action to be, but make it action, because otherwise, if people are just kind of left floating and saying, "Hey, thanks for coming," they're not going to know what to do. That's your job. Now you have become their leader. Now you want to literally give them the exact directions as to what you want them to do, and that's how they're going to act, and that's how they're going to join you.
Hi, I'm back.
Yay!
Sorry.
Mawa.
I got to tell you, David, I got to tell you though, he's right. You know, if you don't have a call to action, you know, you might as well just like, okay, see ya, walk out the door. But you know, that's why we have these tools available, and we have, you know, you want associate applications there so people could see them. You want, you know, order forms there. You want to have product there, you know, as you're mingling around at the end of the party. You know, one of the things that I do, and this kind of takes some practice, but because I'm a chiropractor, my tactile skills are excellent. I'll walk around and I'll like touch people's hands, and I'll tell them which hand they put Renew on just by feeling it and looking at it. You know, if you're brave, do it. But it's a lot of fun. Or you'll see people sometimes, like you'll watch somebody's face, and I've done it in the past where I'm like, I'm sorry, I know you have a thought. Would you like to share it? And she's like, I can't believe what my hand feels like. You know, and this is not a paid person to do this. This is someone that just showed up as a guest. So, but nothing, you have nothing without the call of action. So call them to action, boys.
Tell them what to do. I like that the process is there. It's simple. Anyone can do it, and you laid it out very well. And I like the new tools. It looks great.
Well, here's the one good thing. Here's another good thing. I believe at some point this will be kind of a plug-and-play scenario. We're working on that. The higher-ups are working on that, and you know, at some point it could just be, you know, you go in and press play, which will take a lot of pressure out of you. But you know, this is just a great way to, you know, hone in your skills as well, because we're all going to be leaders and we all have to be speaking in front of public. I don't care who you are, so start doing it.
Exactly. real quick here for everyone out there, a couple of things. And I want you guys to see if you can see my screen, because I might be able to actually show just a couple of the animations, just so they know that this is a presentation that does have animations involved.
Make sure you're locked in on your screen.
Yeah. Are you? Let me see. Present to everyone, and let me lock in here. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So let me see if I can launch this in full screen. If it stays full screen on mine, can you see it full screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you see, like, give you an example. You know, all the images were just static in the notes view there on the Pilar was sharing, but it actually there's some pretty impressive stuff. So when you talk about, you know, the molecules, for example, being in 3 places, it puts up the bottle of ASEA and then Renew 28, and it illustrates that, you know, ASEA is going to help from the inside out. So it's a real nice little animation there, and then Renew from the outside in as well. So that's a couple of good you know, of good examples. And then as Pilar was sharing before, that was kind of hard to see in the share it section there, because you don't see the images that come on before. But again, someone there regarding overall health, having to take the types of things versus taking a shot of ASEA to prevent those things to happen, and then financial security, the money tree. So again, all these wonderful animations are there. It's the first thing I wanted to share. Now, next, what I want to share is where you'll be able to find this presentation. We're going to post it here at Team Reactive. You can see that on my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm going to post it in training, business, and then documents. Okay, training, business, documents. So look for it in this section in a little bit, and give me at least about maybe 15 minutes or so, and we'll get it in this section. It'll be a downloadable presentation that you can go look through the notes section and then be able to practice that yourself.
Awesome! Look at that, you guys.
Awesome sauce.
All right.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Super duper. Okay. Well, that was fantastic, guys. Thank you so much. And so now, David, can you see why people can get excited about having not only the great product of Renew 28, but now a process that they can do comfortably, great-looking slides, information that flows, great, again, at the end, that call to action that they can do, and wherever they're at, whether they're meeting someone for lunch, coffee, whatever. This is something that they can now start to dial and drill and feel comfortable about doing.
Absolutely, and there are some people who are comfortable speaking with people, and we know, everyone should, and yet not everyone is, and Pilar is right. There is something in the works, and for those of you who watched last week, and if you didn't watch last week, go back and watch it. We shared a lot of details, a peek under the tent of some automated systems and processes that are coming around. And being able to have something like this plug and play is going to be able to help you. So a lot of cool things this is part of it, and there's a lot of cool things coming.
Yeah, and I really encourage people that, like Pilar was saying, take advantage of the opportunity to improve your communication skills, to improve your presentation skills. You get so many people that are now going to be using the same sheet of music. If you run into a little bit of a challenge on a slide, give someone else a call. Say, how did you say this? This, or how did you inflect and reinforce this point? Have fun. Have fun with it. And again, like David was saying, it's not going to be for everyone. The company, I think, is pretty conservative. They're saying maybe 10%, 15% of people out there are going to want to do an actual home party. I think that's conservative. I think there are a lot more people that would say, yeah, let's invite some friends over. Or I know people who love to gather people. This is now a great reason to do so. So take advantage of that. Expand your horizons and your communication abilities. And like David said, it's just more and more tools and resources for you in conjunction with that new ABC platform. So you have the ability now to really reach out, expand, and touch many, many more people.
Yeah, these guys, this is great too. And remember, you could put this on your iPad, and this could end up being a one-on-one presentation too. So that might be another good way to start you off and kind of doing it on one-on-one before you're going in front of, whether 5 or 10 people.
And just remember this, when you're speaking, it's all about your confidence, your belief, and your conviction, focusing in on your why. Why are you here? Why are you doing this? And focusing in on the other person, really getting to understand what's going on in their lives. And when you focus in on someone else, your nervousness goes away.
Very good, very good. All right, well, thanks everybody for tuning in. This will be recorded. It will be available immediately to rewatch this. So you can really go through this as many times as you need. Again, give us about 15 or 20 minutes to upload the presentation so you can step through it alongside for yourself. Thanks so much for tuning in. I want to thank our special guests this evening, Drs. Joe and Pilar Labriola. Thanks, guys. And, of course, thanks to my very special co-host out there in Marietta, Georgia, David Sarno.
And a huge thanks to you, Paul, for doing everything you do every week and putting this together.
Thanks so much,
Paul. Thank you, David.
We got to give a special shout out one more time to Sue Brenchley, Tyler Brenchley. Again, really the brainchild for putting all this together.
Oh my gosh!
All you guys out there, thanks so much, Sue and Tyler, for all your amazing efforts.
Thank you, guys.
And of course, thanks to all our moderators out there. Brent Brooks leading the call out there. Appreciate you. And go out, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your evening, rest of the week, and I'll see you later. Good night, everybody.
See you later,
Good night,
everybody.
guys.
Good night.